So what type of student doesn't seem to care about starting work, doing work, or participating in any of the activities you have in your classroom? That's what I called a disengaged student. Well, in today's video, I am sharing some strategies that you can use this week to re-engage those disengaged students. Stay tuned. Hey everybody, Michelle Holiday here. I am a behavior strategist and I help teachers, schools, and districts learn how to manage their classrooms and their students with less stress and less struggle. And in today's video, we are talking all about disengaged students. A disengaged student is a student who does not seem to be interested in participating in the assignments or activities that you have in your classroom. And it has been a struggle for you to get them involved and to get them participating as a positive and responsible student. Well, here are a few strategies that you can use to help motivate that student to step out of disengagement and re-engage in your classroom. Strategy number one, find their interest. When it comes to disengaged students, the immediate goal is to get them started with some type of work. What I have found to be effective is to first put on the mindset of, if my student is not interested in doing any of the work, what are they interested in doing? That's when I start to look at some ways to find out what my student is interested in. A couple of ways that you can do that is to have a one-on-one conversation with the student. Another one you can do is use a student survey where the student can go online or do something on paper where it asks about their interests. And another option is to have someone else outside of your classroom conduct a student interview. What you're looking for is to find out what topics or areas interest your students the most. And don't be afraid to ask for help for someone outside of your classroom, because sometimes your students are more willing to talk to someone else other than yourself about their interests. Strategy number two, connect their interests to an academic assignment. So now that you have a sense of what the students might be interested in, what you want to do is say, now, how can I tie their interest into an actual activity that is related to my subject area? For example, I remember in middle school, I had certain students who were not interested in doing any of the academic work that I had in place. So what I decided to do is have a quick one-on-one conversation to really find out what interests them the most. One student, he said he was just interested in making money, and he really did not see the connection between the work that we were doing and making money. And by the way, at this time, I was teaching math. So in order to get that student re-engaged into what we were doing in the classroom, I created a portfolio assignment where I allowed the student to choose a profession that would make them money and come up with a budget for 3 months and see how his job connected to his bills. Can I just tell you, the student who had done no work for me for like the last 3 to 4 weeks immediately became interested because that student connected their interest to the academic assignment. I can hear some of you saying now, there is no way that my administrator or my school is going to let me do that. Here's what I would say to you. You have a student who is not doing any work. They are disengaged. They will need a plan to get them re-engaged. First thing I would do is ask for their suggestions and actually ask that administrator or that support staff person to model it for you. Also, what you want to do is bring in the data that shows that for the last week, 2 weeks, for me, 3 weeks, they have been earning 0 grades. So show the data of 0 grades and ask for the opportunity to do an intervention on behalf of the student. So what I often did is, instead of just saying, okay, they won't let me do it, I will actually come to them with an offer and I would connect the dots. Because if I have a student doing no work at all to a student who is now willing to do some work, even if it does not meet the current content schedule, some work is better than no work, at least from my perspective. Now, once you connect their interest to that academic assignment where they're actually doing work that is related to a content area, don't think that that is what you have to do for the rest of the school year. Really, the goal is first for them to start doing some work but also to build their academic confidence, for them to see this is not so bad, this is not the end of the world, this is something that you can do. So begin to actually show them connection points between the academic work you're asking them to do on a regular basis and their actual goal of being successful out there in the world. And for my example, actually making money once they leave school. Strategy number 3, investigate the why. Every behavior is a form of communication. So you need to start asking, why is my student not engaged? Why are they disengaged from the work? It may be because they don't have the academic skill set and they're trying to hide it from everybody. It could be because they're not used to doing maybe the caliber of work or the frequency of work that you are requesting. Whatever that reason is, you need to find out why. Because when you know the why, then you know which strategy to apply to get them to do work. How do you find the why? Look at the patterns of behavior. Are they disengaged during certain activities? Are they disengaged during certain subject areas? Are they disengaged during certain times of the day or the period? Start to look at the pattern. Look at what's happening before the behavior and after the behavior. And this should give you a good sense and help you make an educated guess on why they're not willing to participate and do the work. Once you know the why, then you can start to meet their needs by adjusting the work that you are requiring, the type of work that you're requiring, or even the frequency of work that you are requiring for a period of time. Strategy number 4 is a student assignment checkoff. For years, I've had students who would avoid doing work at all costs. They would stare into space. Some of them would actually try to copy from other students, but they really did not want to do the work. As a way to motivate them, I would do what I called an assignment checkoff. I will walk over to the student's desk one-on-one, not very loud because my goal is not to embarrass the student, and say, okay, let's go ahead and get started. And they may say, I don't want to, I don't feel like it. That's okay. And you can say, I understand that, but can you work with me and do at least the first 3 problems? Or can you work with me and do at least one problem or one assignment or one sentence or one paragraph, whatever that looks like for you? And then I would say, I will make my initials right here and I write them right on the paper. And I say, I'll be back in 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes. And I really want to see what you're able to accomplish in that time. Are you ready? Okay, I'll be back. And then I go off. And for some students, just the knowledge that someone is holding them accountable or someone is waiting on them, i.e. you, the teacher, is waiting on them to do an assignment will motivate them to do work. It's not about the work. It's not about the love of work. It's really about that connection of, oh, someone's actually waiting on me or someone's actually looking for me to. Sometimes making that one-on-one connection really motivates the student to start engaging in the assignment. Strategy number 4, a student contract. Let's be real. There are some students who they're going to need some type of external motivation to get them started, whether that is a tangible item or an activity-based activity. If your goal is to get them re-engaged, especially initially, you're going to need to tie in something. So often I'll do a student contract where it says, if you will do this, then you can earn that. If you will do this, I will allow you to do that. And I will do that for a designated time, a couple of weeks, 10 days, every now and then, maybe a month, but it's not meant to be for the rest of the year. It's really meant to get them engaged initially. And while they're doing the work, I'm beginning to help build their academic confidence. I'm pointing out how well they're doing. I'm pointing out that, hey, see, I knew you could do this work. I'm pointing out all the things that they're having victory in, and I'm tying that together because at some point I will want to fade, meaning extend my expectation further. That will require them, if they want to earn something, they'll have to do a little bit more, little by little. Strategy number 5, attach rewards or consequences to their behavior. This strategy will require you to have a classroom management system. And if you don't have a system, check out the details below. And I'll share a resource I have for those who don't know how to or want clarity on how to create a classroom management system. But once you have your system in place, you should have a certain amount of rewards or incentives that will motivate students to work. And then you also should have some consequences that will deter them from not doing the work. Your goal is to have more incentives than consequences, but I truly believe both are needed. So if you're not going to do work, that means you're going to owe me time. If you're not going to do work, that may mean you lose out on an opportunity to do something because you did not follow the directions or the expectations of the classroom. So there you have it, 5 strategies that you can use tomorrow to begin to motivate your students to re-engage in what is happening in your classroom. If you have any questions or any concerns, leave it in the comments below, and I will see you next time.